Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another First Descendant video. So we got the patch notes 1.3.16 15th of January. Wanted to have a quick look at this. Before I do that, wanted to briefly mention the in-game event, which is the A-Girls and Select Star. So this one here is mercifully not a web event, and all you have to do is kill monsters. You get fan tokens. You have a limit of 1,000 per day, which resets, and there are some weekly missions that give you 10 each here and there. The only way of which team wins, picking which team wins, is basically there is a box for each team which contains the same items. At the end of the event, they'll count whichever box is sold more, and the winning team will get one of the patches. That is it. Very simple thing. Just play normally. You'll get tokens. Go to the BB on for the event shop, buy the skin for the Hypernova, the spray, and things like that. So useful little items. Just a simple thing, not like the last event where you had to log in online. All right, on to the patch notes. So first up, we have the breach tracking. I made a separate video. I was very critical of it because of the dimensional analyzer keys. The missions itself, they were fun. They have 3 maps and they have a reasonable, comfortable level of difficulty. Let's say for endgame players, it's easy. But for somebody who is new or who has just finished the campaign, this might be a good one. To get some extra resources. The problem is the stabilization keys and the small quantity of these keys that you can get from very limited sources. Field Colossus and Intercept. I've gone in detail over this. You do also get them from ETA at the weekend. You can get up to 600 from the green with using the green tokens. However, that's a one-time thing. You can get a maximum of 600 and then you have to wait. So basically that is not enough in my opinion, and it defeats the purpose of this mission, because for me, this is like a complementary mission, let's say, to the farming of Harris, Eugene, and the 2 swords, because this purple box gives you these items: amorphous alloy, writing, organic, ultrafine particle, and photon quantum crystals. These are the research materials for the 2 descendants and the 2 swords. You cannot pick which one you want when you open the box. It costs you 30 of these keys, and you struggle to get those keys in the first place because of the limited sources of getting these keys. And so, yeah, this was an unnecessary way of gatekeeping. In my video, I suggested some solutions, but completely removing them is also not a bad idea in my opinion. Make it a time-gated thing. So if you finish the mission in over 8 minutes, you can only open 1 box. If you finish the mission in 6 to 8 minutes, you can open any 2 boxes. And if you finish it in under 6 minutes or under 5 minutes, you can open all 3. Make it something like that, like the invasion, for example. So this key thing, I don't see a reason to gatekeep this, because this is meant to make the grind easier, not add another layer of grinding. So yeah, I'm a bit confused. I'm genuinely disappointed. As you know me, I'm hardly ever critical. I find solutions to these things. And most of the time, since the Void Erosion Purge first came out, this is like the first time I've been really disappointed with how they've implemented this. All they have to do is get someone to test this. I'll do it. Give me a test bill a few days in advance. I'll test it for a few hours and give my feedback, because this obviously seems like something they haven't tested. Maybe put Jason to like do this for a couple of hours and people will figure this out, because yeah, this shouldn't happen, because now people will complain. It will give more ammunition to the haters of the game, let's say, and they'll be constantly complaining for a while, and then they'll look at the feedback, and then 2-3 weeks later they'll improve it. So yeah, they can avoid this cycle like by just doing a few things earlier. Anyway, I don't want to ramble here. There is also a 1% chance of getting a crystallization catalyst or 10 million gold as well. Not that that's very difficult to get. 3 new trigger modules: Kill Chain, Tactical Strike, and Two-Face. 1 for Jayber, 1 for Enzo, and 1 which can be used by people who have chain type skills like Keelan, for example. Then they have some adjustments to the loot boxes, loot box E and things like that. They are going to rework the drops for the loot boxes in episode 3 so that it simplifies all these random boxes. So yeah, so I'll be testing all of this. There is a change to Jayber, Enzo, Thunder Cage. I have to make a few videos, so I'll go over that, but I just wanted to recap this because I tend to do this. Then we have 2 ultimate modules. These are the modules that accompany the trigger modules. So this one here is for the infected weapon for Freyna. You can use this module and it works with the infected weapon. And this one is the aftershock catalyst for the ground eruption for people like Valby, for example. They've added a couple of items for hang on. You can acquire 2 of these defeating commanders. Can be obtained by combining modules. So what is this launch thing? I think they've accidentally put it here. Okay, so then we have descendant balances for Enzo and Jayber. I'll not go into detail reading all of this because I will be testing and making videos hopefully soon. So yeah, you can see a lot of numbers have changed. Basically, Enzo is buffed quite a lot. He'll get damage based on his number of shields. Firearm attack increases. There's a separate one where he gets crit damage from his passive. So one skill-based build, let's say. Jayber also has some changes. One of the modules, I think, increases the number of turrets to 4. Things like that. I don't think the Jayber buff is significant based on a quick look, but we'll see if it's worth building Jayber. And 1 or 2 minor changes to Eugene. Again, nothing in terms of gameplay, just tooltip changes and things like that. Synchronization values have been reduced for Jayber and Enzo. You can see Enzo's synchronization has been reduced quite a bit, so he gets a significant buff. Jayber's is hardly noticeable, so Jayber is still strong. Pyromaniac will be now in the Axion Plains. I haven't run into him yet. 3 new trigger modules are now tradable. So the ones that came out last month, Infected Weapon, Ground Eruption, Instant Acceleration, you can now trade them. ETA shop, like I said, you can get the dimensional stabilization key. So you can get 20 for every 3 ETA vouchers up to 30 times. Now, I don't know if this is a one-time thing or a weekly thing. Even if it's a weekly thing, that is only 600. If you were to open all 3 boxes in the breach tracking, that is not even 10 runs. Okay. Albion gets decorated with various events. This event, as I discussed earlier, is not web-based, mercifully. And you have the weekly mining thing where some of the missions will give you more XP and gold. Then we have the shop items, so skins for all the descendants. Interesting selection. I like the one for Sharon. That's the only one that looked interesting to me. They also added some figurines. Finally, we have a figurine for... no, this is the... diorama set with all these idols. Content improvements. So upon defeating Field Colossus, you can obtain material needed to enhancing. Okay, so now you'll get the materials for the bikes as well, the ones you got from the Axiom drop missions. So yeah, you'll get something here as well, which is fine. Then we have the adjustments to the weapons. Again, I'll probably make the Thunder Cage before everything else because Thunder Cage is very useful. Nazis's Devotion, Greg's River's Fate, Afterglow Sword, all of these getting improvements. You could maybe make a Sharon build for the Wall Crasher using the Afterglow. We'll see if this is good enough. Some adjustments to the melee weapons. Adjustments to modules. These were again the same modules that were released previously to accompany the trigger modules. So like the Breach Explorer, this one works with the Power Beyond. Okay, so previously it was giving you 12.8% and 5 range. Now it's giving you 17%, 4 stacks. It doesn't seem that much of a difference. While effect is active, hitting a toad target with the global dot gives you 12.5. So very minor adjustment here. Anyway, we'll look into the viability of these when we try out the builds. Some of the monsters have been adjusted to do less damage, let's say. I did not know where we ran into Cavalry, but I did run into this guy in the Fortress Breach tracking mission. I don't know where else he pops up. Intercept battles. The normal Swamp Walker has been made easier. I'm guessing the newer players were struggling here. With the collectibles, they have finally released the figurines for Freyna, Glay, Lepic, etc. So yeah, some more there to collect with your daily special tokens. Some of them have been removed and some more gold versions have been added. Some more adjustments to UI and UX. Miscellaneous instant cast. This is kind of important. Make sure to adjust this. Both Viessa and Valby benefit greatly with this. I tested both of them in the breach tracking and this was a nice improvement. Basically, wherever your crosshair is pointing, you can use your skills, so you don't have to place them. Valby's second skill, Viessa's fourth skill. Some more adjustments to player and things, bug fixes basically. And yeah, so I'll be trying to make the Thunder Cage video soon because again I should have a fully built Thunder Cage, so minor adjustments. I'll make the video and then we'll look into Enzo next. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. See you next time.